All right, today's project. So we own a couple of rental houses, and the tenant sent me a text, said that when she turned on the outside faucet to get some landscaping done, because she just put in some nice looking mulch and a little barrier and stuff, so looks pretty nice. She went to start watering, and on this faucet right here, turn that on, and she said she could get some water out of here, and then she heard it leaking, and then it was also running down the wall. So today we're going to crawl underneath it there. What I'm assuming is that these are frost free, but yet if they're not put in quite right, they can still freeze and then they break. So I'm going to show you guys what this is, and in my opinion at least, how that happens and what it does, and we'll just get that replaced. So I got to crawl under there. I can't quite remember how the configuration is on this. I was under there in this area probably 2 years ago. Didn't mess with this, but I was under there on another, she had a leak underneath the bathroom, and so I was underneath the house, looked at everything. I had to shut the main off. So that main is like right here, because it comes in from the road, comes in. There's a shut off right behind here. That one was seized up, couldn't shut it off. But anyways, I've been in this area. I can't quite remember exactly how that is, but I'll show you how that all looks. All right, we are crawling over to where that faucet is and checking it out to see what exactly I got to do here. So I was hoping it would be a straight line, because right there is the shut off. We replaced that a year ago, I think, maybe 2. But that's the main coming in, shut off. That one was completely seized up, so we didn't even worry about messing with it. We just put a new one in, so I can shut the main off to the house, and then that line tees off and goes over. I thought that it was a straight line coming to that T. That would have been super easy, but we can still get her figured out, because then that's the back side of that. And I'm going to take that out and put PEX in. So we'll get that converted. So 1/2 inch line of PEX. We'll get that all directed. All right, so we turn the water on, and prediction is right. It is leaking from right there. And when I get out, I'll show you the new faucet and show you why that happens. So, all right, my prediction was right. Now I just got to figure out how to get that. I needed, like I said, that 90, and we'll get tied in. So, prediction's right. Should be a pretty easy fix. So this is what I call my rental bag. This is a everything in it tool set. If I need to do a little bit of electrical, if I need to do some caulking, short screws, hammers, just kind of a tool bag of everything that I've got. This is called a PEX crimper. So went to Menards. I'm going to convert copper to PEX. I know there's copper under there. This is just a shark bite fitting. I don't have to solder the copper to a separate fitting. These literally are just press on. Pretty stinking handy, really quick. Yeah, so I've got that. Bought some sandpaper, because I'm gonna have to cut that copper pipe, smooth out that end so there's no burrs, so when it goes into this shark bite fitting, it's good and clean. This is a PEX crimper, so you put a ring around that, crimp it. I'll show you what that is. I've got a gazillion of those little rings in the bottom here. My bag broke open, but they're all in the bottom. Right now I'm looking for my pipe cutters. I hope they're in here. I can't remember, but it doesn't look like we've got them. Dang it. So there's my PEX pipe cutter, plastic line. I had a tool that would cut them, but not. So I guess I will use my hacksaw to cut that pipe. Not no big deal. We'll get that done. All right, this is a frost-free hydrant, or a faucet, whatever you want to call it. So how these work is this sits in the wall just like that one, okay? And so if you can see, if this is straight up and down with the wall, then this piece that's behind the wall is actually at a rise, it's at an angle. The reason for it is when you turn this on and off, that rubber seal, the gasket, the O-ring, all of the closing mechanisms are right back here. So that when you shut that off, and if this is at an angle, you shut it off, water stops here, and then whatever's in this tube then drains out. Therefore, you never have water in this line. If they're installed improperly and they're level or even down, then water will stay in this line, and then in the wintertime where we're at, it'll freeze, and then this copper will break. So that's how these work. Pretty simple. This one's going to get converted to PEX because underneath of there is all copper from the main coming in. So I'm going to get underneath of there, we'll convert this to PEX, but that is how these work, and that's how these freeze and break behind the house, and it's shut off and the water to the house is on, but it's not leaking right now. It only leaks when you turn it on, because you open it up, then water comes through, hits that break, we're gushing water out. Yeah, some comes out of here, but then it's also coming in from behind the wall. That's a big problem. Shut it off, boom. So we're done. I'm gonna have to shut the main off to the house, and then I'm gonna cut that, and we'll crimp it here, slide it through. I think we'll be all right. We'll have pretty easy fix. But yeah, that's how these work. Okay, so we are back under here. I got my PEX line. I'm going to measure and route that. This is flexible enough. Let me put the light down. So this is flexible enough. I think I'll be able to run that up in there like so, and then just curve it and route it and tie in somewhere in there. I don't know, I might have to come clear back down to here though. So we'll have to kind of get that set up like that. And then if I'm there, S-curve it. I don't know. I might cut that line like right there. I think that'll probably be all right. So if we cut this line, and then I can S-curve that from the inside of that. So that should work pretty good. I'm just going to cut that right there. So we'll get in here, and let me move my light. We're going to put my light, I want to be able to see it pretty good. Shouldn't be that big of a deal though. Set the light down and use two hands because I'm gonna have to stabilize that, but I don't want to get darn light wet. So I'm using my phone as a light. And now we're muddy down here. This is all, I can't see that, so let's go like right here. Let's see if that light helps. See if we can get that thing propped up. I've got a light that would probably be better, but I don't have it with me. Ooh. That angle ain't working. Let's do that. up in here. So now I can go out. There's 2 screws out there. Take those screws out. This just goes straight out. We'll put the new one in. I'll crimp this piece of PEX out there, and I'll just run the whole thing through, and then I can route it the way that I need to. So I'll see you on the outside. Okay, so we're back outside now. We're gonna take these 2 screws out now that I've got that cut. They got some silicone, probably have to run a knife across that, break that seal, but we will pull those out real quick. Okay, just like that. Boom, actually don't even need to cut it. Got a lot of silicone there. And right there's our problem. So, not real sure how that, I figured it'd be on the bottom because the water would sit, but that tells me this whole thing was filled with water, because if it broke on the top, I don't know. But then also, I'm not a scientist. I don't know if it would be where there's air and it freezes and it expands down here, then it's split there. I don't know. I just know they break like that. So right there is the culprit of our problem. And yeah, so we'll get the new one put on that PEX with my crimper, and just grab one of these, and then we'll push this right back through, crawl back under there. It's so fun going in and out of those places. But yeah, so we just simply slide that on and slide that on, get that to there, and it is literally just squeeze that sucker tight. So okay, I don't like how that's sitting just quite right. Get that all the way on, and that barb goes down to there. So now it'd be handy if I had a vise. There we go. I like that. Good to go. Just squeeze that sucker. It's crazy. It just, I mean, I bottomed it out, so that is as tight as it'll go, and that is crimped on there now. So we will now slide this back through, all the way through, and then I'll go get that inside done. All right, so this house, the access to underneath is literally just kind of right in the middle. So she covers it with a rug, makes it look really nice. But yeah, gotta crawl back under there. Got everything that we're gonna need. So we will get under there and get this project wrapped up. So I'm gonna put my camera down because I got a belly crawl. It's always lovely. I've got from dirt level up 18 to 24 inches ductwork, army crawling. This one's not too bad though, honestly. It does amaze me though, like in a lot of places, like how much stuff, there's a board, just people that have worked on stuff, they just leave it. It does amaze me how much stuff gets left underneath it here. Like here's a pipe. Who knows how old that thing is? But yeah, back to the corner. All right, we're back in the corner. So I got that new piece shoved all the way through. I'm gonna have to reroute that. I knew it was gonna go over these other 2 boards, but should be able to get that wrapped around there. We'll get that cleaned off. And so yeah, get this guy propped up here. But again, I'm gonna have to grab some stuff. Let's see. Good thing about this PEX is it's flexible. I like that. So most new houses, I would say, from what I understand anyways, almost all new houses, everything's going to this PEX just because it's so much easier. So just like that, I got that routed. That's pretty straight. Then I can turn that. We are good there. So still dripping some water, but coming from there just snakes around right to our cut. I can put that line in and get this propped up here. Let's see. Take this, get you opened up. Why they would make this a resealable bag, because it's not like you're going to reuse it, but I'm just going to cut it. That's what it is. It's just a simple push-pull. And then inside of there has little teeth. I'm still baffled by the science of how water and air does not leak out of these. It's amazing. I don't know, but we'll get that cleaned up there. So. Yeah. This out. Oops. Trying to get the camera situated just right. I mean, I am in a really good spot, so hold up. Let me get this thing figured out. Okay, now we're back. So I've got my pipe cutters. Like I said, this little shark bite here. Need to get my sandpaper out. I'm just gonna take some of those burrs off. Probably don't have to, but I'm going to. Because I don't know, I mean, this green oxidation corrosion, I would think that would create a cavity that would not create a very good seal. Yeah, that's all good and smooth now. So, grab the camera here. So I just sanded that all back, and that's good and smooth. So I like that. I'll grab this guy, and you literally just push that in, and then it's on, and then you pull that back, and that is on. Like that. Again, that technology, just how that thing seals is beyond me. So now I'm going to take this new PEX line. Oops. Okay, we're routed. And then get my angle here. Give myself a little extra. So I'm going to cut it like about right in there where my thumb is. So put that over there. Sorry about that. There we go. Simple as that. Now, where that's in there, we come up to here. Same process. You keep that tab pushed in. Over here to this side. Let's see. That tab comes out. As far as I know, that is good. So I can test this one literally with that main turn on. If we don't have any leaks there, and I'll be able to see the leaks over there. If we're all good, then I can go back outside. So here we go, moment of truth. Okay, we hear the water going. Do not see any leaks. Except for the faucet's running outside. So, she's home. So I'm going to have her go shut that off outside so then we can pressure up everything. So hold it. Okay. I got a hold of her. She's headed outside now. I'll turn this back on. And she shut the... Yep, we're good. Okay. So that thing is completely pressured up. That little fitting right there is not leaking at all. I'll come over here, and that one is not leaking at all. So we will curl back outside and get those 2 screws put in. Clean up a little bit of mess here. Some tools and a little bit extra, and get this project wrapped up pretty quick. Okay, so now, final steps so that doesn't happen again. We want to make sure that this is up so that when it's shut off, all that water drains out that hole, because of that right there is where that plunger is. So I'm literally just going to stick a couple of little blocks up in here and wedge them. I don't know, I'm just kind of grabbing whatever I got. A couple, so like that guy, that'll be good. So, got that wedged up in there. Make sure that's lifted up over time. Shoot. So, and doesn't have to be nothing fancy, but we'll get that thing wedged up in there. And that's up. So there we go. All right, so now I'm gonna just run a bead of caulking over this seal right here, and then we'll go ahead and put these 2 screws back in and call this project done. We'll kind of make sure that it's lined up. But I've got some cobwebs here on my hat. Dirty down there, spiders. So you lick your thumb before you start messing with the caulking. The moisture then helps it from sticking to your thumb. Then you can smooth out your line, make it look better. And now, again, just lick your finger, and then you wipe all that. Gets down in there, cleans it up, makes it look good. So I'm going to deem this project done.